Hi guys, today we're just going to go over sort of a mini full retouch. I think the last one I did, which was the dodge and burn, which is mainly about the dodge, people have been asking for just slightly more in depth, so we're going to do a full retouch on this. The model's Catherine. It's a shoot I did last year. Obviously, as you can see, it's nice and sunny. We're just going to go through everything I would do relatively quickly though, and I'm quite quick anyway. It's already been graded in Lightroom, taking it straight into Photoshop, so we'll get started. So first of all, get the clone stamp, create a new layer, make sure the sampled is all. So this is non-destructive, so just getting good texture, just going over the bad texture relatively quickly. Yeah, you can spend lots of time on this, but Catherine doesn't need it, to be quite honest. This is just sort of you know, clutching at straws, just getting some tiny bits just done. So really straightforward, just getting the texture nearby. And the key to this, I mean, I know I'm doing it very, very quickly here, but as you're doing it, you'll notice when someone's done it quite poorly, because you'll get a lot of replication. You'll see the signs of like common artifacts appearing here, because it'll all look the same. So it'll, like, you know, let's say you've taken it from there and then you start doing it over here and you do big swathes of it, it really shows up. So again, keep resampling. I think, and again, like in most of the videos, it's sort of, it's a bit overkill really. You know, a lot of this you probably wouldn't even notice. Things like that won't bother me per se. Yeah, and obviously, you know, there's things like this, like little bits of like red and stuff, like where our capillaries are, and they're obviously like, you know, you can, if you really want to go over all that. Oh, go back. So, right. Now with these hairs, I mean, I'm not overly bothered, to be honest, because I think a lot of them, although like it is nice to tidy them up, but you can do these with the clone stamp like this, or you can just use the remove tool. Although a lot of retouchers obviously would crucify me for saying that, but anyway, that's that. Then go straight into curves, bash that up, Control I, change it to a brush, about 3%, it's up to you what you're going to work with. It just depends on how much you've played with it. Now with this, obviously, some people go in like really tight and then work their way out. And what I normally work, the way I work is, I think, well, how's it going to be viewed? Obviously, I know it's, you know, it's a portrait, so. But where is it going to be viewed? Obviously, if it was a billboard, then yeah, you'd have to do like a full retouch and just make sure, well, more to the point, making sure what you've done doesn't show any artifacts, or you haven't added any blemishes or that sort of thing. So as you can see, I go quite fast. And all you're doing is where it's like slightly darker or slightly blotchy, and you're just brightening it. And but yeah, like I said in the other video, really you don't want to do too much, because it will start to look unnatural. So it's just sort of evening it a bit. And it shouldn't take too long. And then, and that's another thing, obviously once you've done the curve adjustment and you started, if, you know, it doesn't seem to be going as quick, you know, your curve might just need to be a bit more aggressive. But I would always start off with a slight curve, slight adjustment, and then if anything, just do another curve adjustment, you know, do another layer. It's not going to hurt anyone. Now I know some people with this would have just got the like remove tool, or just use a patch tool, and you can do that. And again, you see on a lot of channels where they just use a patch tool and you can sort of do it, but if you're going to do it, you can't do it at this level if you're worried about texture. And the idea is that you want to retain as much texture as possible. And that's up to you. I mean, there's a lot of, you know, they've got these programs which sort of smooth skin, or and it just loses the texture. So you can still get it to look fantastic, have texture, and it's retouched, and you haven't like made it look fake. Because where years ago, I don't know if it was ever sort of made fake, it's more so a thing these days with the filters and whatever. Saying that, I don't mind the you use the animal filters or the funny face filters, fill your boots. But filters for faces to brighten the eyes and whatever else, it's a bit of a no-no. So we're sort of getting there. At this rate, it's going to be a long video. And sometimes this is when you can see that, well, for me anyway, that your curve wasn't as aggressive enough. But also that the curve obviously might affect, you know, it'll affect the brighter points more so. Let's just double check that. There you go. So you can see the difference. Very subtle. Right, yeah, so going a bit more extreme. Again, retouchers would have a field day with me doing this, but I think most people are not retouchers. They just want to sort of work to a sort of a level of certain quality, and you know, don't require it to be at absolutely pixel perfect, and it's sort of, well, how long do you want to take on it really? And also with working out, I mean, you're supposed to be, in theory, going in and out of this to check it up close and check it further away, because what you do find is that if you're working really close up, so not at a 1-to-1 pixel, but like very, very close, and then you start editing, you'll find that when you zoom out, you like would have created sort of like high points and dark points which you won't be able to see close up, and then as you go out you'll see that there'll be like a really high point you've created where you've been retouching, so close up it looks fine, but then further out it looks really odd, and then you have to do more of a global tweak on it then to balance that whole area out. So you'd do the retouch really close up, and then you'd have to come back out and then use a larger brush, do another curve adjustment to balance the sort of big blob you've done out. So, you know, again, this is why I normally work at this level, because this is a bit easier, and then also people aren't pixel peeping, or they're certainly not doing it on social media, that's for certain. So you don't need that sort of, that level. But I hope with this that you can see what I'm actually doing. Obviously it does take a bit of time, but the results are just soft enough that you can see but not too dramatic, and also it's about retaining, you know, obviously the likeness of the person, and all you're doing, you know, is just painting. That's all you're doing. There are many other sort of tips and tricks and methods and stuff which you can do, whichever suits you. Also, I'm doing this with a Intuos Pro pad, is it? I was told by a graphic designer, in actual fact. I used to use a bamboo pen, which is like a 9-inch pad thing. I used that for many years. It did the bit so to many things with that. And he said, really, you should have one which matches your screen. So, you know, I use a 31-inch screen. So get the largest you can. And he's right, because when you map it to your screen, the entire size of the pad maps the screen. So obviously if you have like a 9-inch one, like I did, I think it was 9 or 6-inch, you know, end to end, when you're moving it across, it would just literally, it would just flick. Obviously you get used to it, it's not a problem. But yeah, so here we go then. Well, let's switch everything off. There you go. That's pretty good, isn't it? Right, and then I would, again, this is what I do because it's just easy. Another curve adjustment. I've got my brush again. I'll just turn it up a bit. 9. So over the eyes, just a smidgen. So like the catch light. This is sort of slightly accentuating, but and you can sort of do this with the sharpness a bit as well. But I don't do too much. I think for me, there you go. Yeah, so I think we're done there. This what's taken 10 minutes or so, something like that. Yeah, the recorder's still going anyway. But anyway, yeah. Oh, off. It's looking good. Looking nice, even. Doesn't look plastic, retain plenty of details still. Yeah, really happy with that. And that's it. I hope that was a bit better and easier to follow. You can sort of see what I'm doing. I know I rambled a lot. But yeah, that's more of a full retouch, and I think I would stop there. I mean, yeah, I think like tidying the hair, it would be an advantageous on this one, but it doesn't really bother me that much. I know others it will. But yeah, there you go. I'll see you next time.